Friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to join us in today's press conference on Xinjiang-related issues. My name is Xu Guixiang, spokesperson of People's Government of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Let me first of all introduce to you the person who attended with me here today, Mr. Mao Hui, Deputy Director General of the Development and Reform Commission of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, Madam Mirgul Tosun, Director General of the Xinjiang International Expo Administration of Commerce Department of Xinjiang, People's Government of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. And we have 6 representatives who will join us today through the video links. There are Madam Zhong Hehua from Urumqi International Land Port, and Mr. Ma Haitao from Kashgar Economic Development Zone, Mr. Fan Zengxi from Horgus Economic Development Zone, Mr. Li Cunpeng from Xinjiang Tacheng Prefecture Port Administration Committee, Mr. Fang Zong, a Vice General Manager of Gold Wind Technology Company, and Mr. Yu Chengzhong, Chairman of Horgus Jingyi International Trade Company. So today's conference will be focusing mainly on the foreign economics and foreign exchanges. As it's known to all that Xinjiang is a conduit of civilization exchanges between the East and the West, and a pivotal part of the ancient Silk Road. Xinjiang now is the core area of the Silk Road economic belt and the forefront of China's westward opening up. With years of the unremitting efforts, Xinjiang now has been through historical changes from disruption to stability. Now it has achieved social stability, economic development, cultural diversity, ethnic unity, and religious harmony. And the people across the region are living in and working in happiness and contentment. Xinjiang has enjoyed unique advantages for its economic development as a juncture for the West and East exchanges. And it's now attracting more and more people from outside of the country to investment here. So from July 4th to 9th, and representatives from certain countries, from the business sectors of certain countries come to visit Xinjiang, and they have extensive exchanges with local representatives from the business and industry sectors and achieved fruitful results. And the route for Xinjiang to opening further to the west is also a road for win-win cooperation and culture exchanges. It is a road of candid and straightforward exchanges and for peace. Xinjiang will seek a great consistency in its opening up through links running east and west, so as to bring in closer economic contacts and links and deepening cooperation, and with broader and even extensive opportunities or potentiality for future development. We'd like to join our hands and to create a common prosperity for the future with you all. Now we'd like to invite Mr. Mao Hui, the Deputy Director General of the Reform and Development Commission of Xinjiang, to give you a brief introduction about Xinjiang's foreign trade.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Now I will brief you on Xinjiang's foreign exchange and cooperation, especially the building of the core region of the Silk Road economic belt. First, Xinjiang has a clear advantage in deepening exchange and cooperation. It is located in the hinterland of the Eurasian continent, and it's an important corridor of the ancient Silk Road and a major gateway of China's opening up to the west, and a core region of the Silk Road economic belt. With the building of the Belt and Road Initiative, Xinjiang's distinctive advantages are more clear, and is now becoming the frontier of China's opening up to the West. First, unique geographical location. Xinjiang is bordering 8 countries. It is in the intersection of the new Eurasian land bridge, China, Mongolia, Russia, and China, Central and Western Asia, and China, Pakistan economic corridors. The China-Europe Railway Express has linked the 2 markets, domestic and international markets, with 1.3 billion people, and connects the West and East and links the South and North. Second, rich natural resources. Xinjiang is abundant in oil, gas, coal, and other minerals. It is China's cotton production base, the largest specialty fruit base, and an important livestock production base. At the same time, the Central Asian region is the region in the world with the most abundant mineral resources. It's highly complementary with Xinjiang's development, which provides important support for foreign exchange cooperation and integrating into the Belt and Road Initiative. Third, rich and profound cultures. Xinjiang is the intersection of Eastern and Western cultures. With long-term coexistence, a distinctive regional and ethnical culture has been formed. The ethnic minorities in Xinjiang share similar languages and customs with other countries, as well as time-worn friendship, which provides natural conditions for promoting foreign exchange and cooperation. Fourth, clear policy advantages. China has established 55 state-level major opening up platforms and industrial development platforms in 13 categories, and provided a lot of policy measures. In particular, the Kashgar and Horgas Economic Development Zone are provided by the state and the autonomous region with corporate tax exemption and reduction policies, which has created favorable conditions for attracting investment. Fifth, solid foundation for development. In recent years, with special care and strong support, Xinjiang continues to unleash the dividends of stability and enjoys rapid social and economic growth. Many infrastructure and major industrial projects of importance to long-term development have been built. Modern agriculture, including grain, cotton, fruit, and livestock, has entered a stage of efficient and high-quality development. Labor-intensive industries have continued to grow. Resource-intensive industries have gained more momentum. Strategic emerging industries have rapidly developing, and tourism has flourished. The distinctive geographical location is now translating into economic advantage and development advantage, which provides sound material foundation for deepening exchange and cooperation with the world. Second, Xinjiang has made remarkable achievements in exchange and cooperation. In recent years, Xinjiang has based its work on the building of the core region of the Silk Road economic belt and integrated its regional opening up into China's opening up to the West, and proactively carried out foreign exchange and cooperation. A lot of tangible outcomes have been achieved. First, stronger synergy of policies. We have continued to strengthen intergovernmental economic cooperation with Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia, and launched and improved joint COVID response mechanisms with neighboring countries. We have signed 21 cooperation agreements with 25 countries and international organizations, and established economic coordination with 190 countries and regions. We have established 45 pairs of sister cities, and the friend circle of Eurasian cooperation has been expanded. Second, higher infrastructure interconnectivity. We have now 118 international land transport routes, accounting for a third of China's total. The highway linking Xinjiang and Europe has completed construction. The second railway with Kazakhstan has been put into action. China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and China-Pakistan railway is now well underway. There are already 25 civil airports, and we are on the way of building airline network. We now have 26 optical cables, and there are 2 power transmission lines, and 3 gas transmission lines to other parts of China. A connectivity network featuring road, railway, aviation, pipeline, and communication is basically formed. Third, expanding trade and investment cooperation. As the core region of fostering domestic and international circulations, we have basically built the industrial supply and logistics chains of linking Eastern and Western China. Foreign investment has covered over 60 countries and regions, and there are 4 overseas cooperation parks established. We have held 6 China-Eurasian expos and 33 commodity fairs in Xinjiang for neighboring countries. The cross-border settlement of RMB has covered over 110 countries and regions. Fourth, deepening people-to-people exchanges. We have established cross-border telemedicine platforms with 24 major hospitals from abroad. And the building of the Silk Road Economic Belt Innovation Pilot Zone is well underway. Scientific cooperation has covered 45 countries and regions, as well as 400 research institutions. Study in China Xinjiang program has made solid progress. A lot of international students from neighboring countries is now learning and working in Xinjiang, which provides an important role in international cooperation. We have boosted tourism in Xinjiang, scoring a significant rise in the number of tourists and income from tourism. And Xinjiang is now a favorite tourist destination in the world. Fifth, major achievements in building the key platforms. Urumqi International Land Port is now making solid progress and ensuring the smooth operation of China-Europe Railway Express. The major economic index of Kashgar and Horgus Economic Development Zone has maintained 2-digit growth, with more intensive export-oriented industries and stronger leading role. The Horgus Railway Port is now officially opened. The flight port in Yining has gained approval. The Karasu port is now open all year long. The building of Tacheng opening up pilot zone has been launched with a fixed asset investment of over 20 billion yuan. Third, on promoting foreign exchange and cooperation in Xinjiang. Next, we will base our work on the new development stage, apply the new development philosophy, and foster a new development paradigm. And we'll give full play to our geographical advantage of linking Asia and Europe, promote high-quality opening up and international cooperation, focus on major countries, regions, sectors, and projects, strengthen opening up and based on the Uyghur, the Urumqi International Land Port, Kashgar and Horgus Economic Development Zones, and the Port Economic Belt. We will continue to expand opening up to the West and unleash the vitality for high-quality development. We will enrich the opening up models, elevate the levels, and establish an open and innovative economic system and build the high ground for opening up in inland and bordering areas, so as to make positive contributions to the Belt and Road and the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. We sincerely invite you to come to Xinjiang and look around, so you can understand Xinjiang and strengthen exchange and cooperation and expand cooperation, sharing the dividends of the Belt and Road building and make new glory in the Belt and Road. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just now the Deputy Director General Mao Hui talked about the building of the core region of the Silk Road Economic Belt. Thank you very much. Next, we will have Ms. Bedgul Tursun from the Department of Commerce to talk about economic and trade cooperation.
Good afternoon. Now I would like to introduce to you the development of the export-oriented economy in Xinjiang. In recent years, under the framework of the BRI, Xinjiang has pursued mutual benefits and willing cooperation by building a highland for the westward opening up, pressing ahead with the construction of the core areas of the Silk Road economic belt, and positive outcomes have been achieved. First, striving for the further opening up. From 2016 to 2021, the import and export volume of Xinjiang has increased from 13 billion to 15.69 billion, with trade partners from 170 more countries and regions. From January to May this year, the import and export volume of Xinjiang has realized 67.4 billion RMB, an increase of 30% higher than the average spread of the country. Among them, the trade volume between the countries along the BRI routes and the RCEP members was 61 billion RMB and 43 billion RMB respectively, and an increase of 39% and 28.2% respectively. The trade structures have been optimized gradually, and more high-quality agricultural products have been available at the daily dinner tables of our people. From 2014 to 2021, there are altogether 5,666 China-Europe freight train has been operated with over 23 routes and reaching 19 countries, 26 cities in the Europe and Asia continent. In this special pretext of the pandemic, the steel carrying has played an irreplaceable role in stabilizing international industrial supply chain and bring more tangible and accessible benefits to people of all the countries. Secondly, giving full play of the regional geographic advantages. As is known to all, that Xinjiang has an area of 1.6 million square kilometers with 8 neighboring countries. The region has 20 ports opening to the neighboring countries, 17 land ports and 3 airports. And among them, Alactau, Horgus, are the foreign ports with land roads, railways, and pipeline transportations. The port has played a very important role for Xinjiang to transform its kernel economy to industrial economy and the port economy. In 2020, the export and import volume for cross-border e-commerce in Xinjiang has reached 2 billion RMB, an increase of 152%. The first half of this year, the cross-border e-commerce import and export volume has reached 2.12 billion RMB, and which is already higher than the total volume of last year. Now, the B2B export has taken about 70% of the cross-border with neighboring countries, and we have set up 13 overseas warehouse in Hungary, in Kazakhstan, and many other countries. Under this bonded goods export mode, the export goods can are distributed to the overseas warehouse in European Union within 8 to 9 days, and a speed as high as air transportation, but a much lower cost. Thirdly, promoting the new development structure. In recent years, we have making more efforts in optimizing our business environment and provide more convenient and facilitated service to attract more companies coming to Xinjiang for business. In 2020, the foreign investment actually used in Xinjiang was about $240 million, an increase of 9.5%. From January to May this year, the newly increased foreign investors are 17, and with an increase of 41%. And there are economic development zones, comprehensive bounded zones, and border economic cooperation zones and cross-border economic cooperation zones. And in those platforms and zones, the clusters of industries and opening up the function has been further upgraded. And till now that the Xinjiang has accumulated FDI of 6.4 billion US dollars, covering 63 countries and regions. And we have 657 businesses having investment in other countries. Mostly upgrading the level of opening up with various platforms, and Xinjiang has improved its governmental trade and economic cooperation mechanism with these neighboring countries. And we have regular exchanges and dialogues between 7 countries around us, including Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Pakistan. And all those difficulties and problems we encountered in the trade and economic cooperations will be discussed and addressed promptly. Under the special background of the pandemic, we have organized 22 cloud discussions and exchanges with 18 countries and regions, including Kazakhstan, Russia, and Mongolia. And over 2,000 domestic and international enterprises have signed cooperations and agreements. And we especially seizing opportunities to make cooperation with the RCEP members, and through these cloud dialogues and exchanges, we are trying to take full use of the China International Import Expo and many other international expos and exhibitions as a opportunity or platforms to promote Xinjiang's economy and its unique culture and economic potentialities.
Thank you. And now, let's welcome the Deputy Director from Urumqi International Land Port, Ms. Zhong Hehua, via video link, and she will brief us on the building of Eurasian Land Port Logistics Hub. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Urumqi International Land Port is the flagship project of the building of the core region of the Silk Road Economic Belt. The building started in the end of 2015 with a planned area of 67 square kilometers. It has positioned itself as an important functional area of Eurasia land logistics, international supply chain organization, and modern industries, and Xinjiang Free Trade Pilot Zone. We are an important east-west transport hub. We have the railway hub closest to Central and West Asia and Europe, and a multi-dimensional transport system featuring international flights, high-speed railway hubs, and intercity railway and multi-level roads. In recent years, we have expanded domestic and international logistics network and improved our opening up platform with a view to building platforms, promoting trade, and gathering industries, and we have made solid progress in foreign opening up. First, we have strengthened logistics cooperation. We have gained approval of Landport's National Logistics Hub and China-Europe Railway Express Demonstration Zone, and so on. We promote the high-quality development of CERE. Now we have opened 5,900 China-Europe and China-Central Asian railways. And in the first half this year, the number of trains have increased by 36%. The variety of cargo has increased from commodity and garments to over 200 types, including machinery and heating and building materials. There have been 21 lines reaching to 19 countries and 26 cities. At the same time, we give full play to Xinjiang's geographical location and serve Central Asian markets and open up international land transport. As for today, we have opened over 20,000 trucks, and in the first half of this year, the number has increased by 6.8 times. Also, we have increased cooperation with Tianjin Port and Shandong ports and developed our sea railway transport. We have opened up two-way sea railway transport to expand Japanese, Korean, and Southeast Asian markets. Second, we have strengthened trade cooperation with the multimodal transport and so on. We support export-oriented industries and strengthen trade cooperation with Central and West Asia and Europe. We have increased export of steel, ketchup, and PVC, as well as the import of minerals, cook oil, wheat, and so on. We have given full play to the Land Sea New Corridor and strengthened trade ties with BRI countries, especially RCEP signatories. Since today, we have opened the Turpan Chongqing Thailand Melon Cold Chain Express train and Chongqing Xinjiang Germany high-end electronic products cross-border express train. Third, we have improved domestic and international logistics network system. We have strengthened cooperation with logistics cooperation with Chongqing, Chengdu, and Hefei, and so on, and supports companies in building overseas warehouses in important cities abroad, promotes the corridor plus ports plus hubs plus network, this modern logistics system. And also, we strengthen cooperation with companies from Kazakhstan and promote the building of a loading station in Dostek. Fourth, we strengthened communication and promotion. We have given full play to exhibitions to help companies with their import and export needs and to expand market. We have participated in the CIIE and China Eurasian Expo for over 40 times. Also, we have capitalized on news reports, both domestically and internationally, and their influence. We have received 1.3 thousand visits and inspections. Dear friends, under the general environment of unity and stability in Xinjiang, Urumqi International Land Port will continue to follow the Silk Road spirit of peace and cooperation, openness and inclusiveness, mutual learning and win-win cooperation, to continue our cooperation with neighboring countries and increase our service level and deepen trade cooperation with neighboring countries and participate in more projects. So now I sincerely invite friends from all sectors to see around in Urumqi International Land Port to promote cooperation, exchange, and promote common development. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Zhong. Thank you for your introduction about the Urumqi International Land Port. Now we'd like to put the link through with Xinjiang Kashi Economic Development Zone, Mr. Ma Haitao, the Deputy Director of the Economic Zone Administrative Committee. Hello, Mr. Ma. We are here now engaging for a press conference on Xinjiang-related issues. Thank you for joining us. And please introduce to us this information about Kashgar Economic Development Zone. Hi, Mr. Xu. Hello, everyone. I'm the Deputy Director of the Kashgar Economic Development Zone. You can see that behind me is the main checkpoints of the Kashgar Free Trade Zone and Comprehensive Bounded Zone, actually. There are 20 channels, 10 exit, 10 entry, and here on my right hand is the one-stop service center. Then over 40 staffs of Kashgar Customs are working here and provide service for all the customs-related affairs. And on my right hand is the office building of our administrative committee. Can you see there is a building with blue glass complex? It has an area of 18,000 square meters. It's a place for exhibition and it's display of cross-border e-commerce commodities and e-commerce related business. The Kashgar Comprehensive Bounded Area is established in 2014. It is a 2010. It is a very important window for China to open it further to the west, and with a designed construction area of 50 square kilometers, with the focuses on modern service industry and advanced manufacturers. In 2021, the total GDP of this economic zone is 5.08 billion RMB, with a paid-in investment of 4.03 billion RMB, export-import volume of 8.6 billion RMB, with over 4,000 registered enterprises and companies, and 216 of them are foreign trade companies. And we are focusing and trying our best to making Kashgar an important economic center, trade and commerce center, as well as international economic and technology cooperation. Kashgar Economic Development Zone is a hot land for the investment, with excellent business environment and enjoy a series of the preferential policies granted by the national and the local authorities. We have tried our best to deepen our opening up with outside countries, especially our neighboring countries in the regions. We have opened the international freight air routes with Islamabad, Kyrgyzstan, and Europe countries such as Frankfurt. And we have established the cooperation and the agreement of strategic cooperation with Kyrgyzstan and Pakistan. So the Kashgar bonded area is a very important platform for opening further to the outside world for Kashgar Economic Development Zone. And the focus will be put on the export-oriented processing and utilization industries. And in the first 5 months of this year, the import and export trade volume was 4.62 billion RMB. This January, the Chinese government has approved that we are going to set up a cross-border e-commerce pilot zone in Kashgar special economic zones, and we believe it will bring more and new impetus to the export-oriented economy here in Kashgar. And we, in next, we're trying our best to further improve the infrastructure construction of the economic zone and optimizing, improving our business environment, and with renovation and reforms. Sincerely welcome you to Xinjiang, and especially to Kashi for your business, choosing Xinjiang and winning the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ma Haitao, for your introduction. As you said, choose Kashgar and win the future. From your introduction on Kashgar Economic Development Zone and the relevant preferential policies and your plannings for the future, I'm confident that the journalists and distinguished guests, you will have a better understanding in Kashgar Economic Development Zone. We really hope that in China's opening up to the West, and Kashgar Economic Development Zone will play a more important role in exchange and cooperation. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, next, we will have the Deputy Director of Horgos Economic Development Zone Administration Office, Mr. Fan Zengxi, via video link. Hello, Mr. Fan. Hello, Mr. Fan. Can you hear me?
你好，发哥，能听到吗？可以啊。
Yes, I can.
好，你好，我们正在北京举行
Now we are holding
新闻发布会
the press conference on Xinjiang in Beijing,
各记者朋友和
and I hope
国外的
you
朋友
can brief us
霍尔果斯
on
开发区的
the Horgos Economic Development Zone.
请您介绍。
Now I'll give the floor to you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm the Deputy Director of Horgos Economic Development Zone Administration Office. It gives me great pleasure to meet you via video link. Now, I will brief you on 4 advantages of Horgos. First, geographical position. Horgos is located in Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture and borders Kazakhstan. The major route of the New Silk Road, or the New Eurasia Land Bridge, stretches from Lianyungang via Horgos to Rotterdam, Europe's largest port, along over 30 countries and regions. Horgos is 4,244 kilometers from Lianyungang and 6,638 kilometers from Rotterdam. It is at the center and core position of the Eurasian economic bloc. It is an integrated land port featuring road, railway, flight, pipeline, optical cable, and mail. And it is included in the first batch of the 6 land ports with Belt and Road corridors in China. Second, policy support. In 2021, State Taxation Administration and the Ministry of Finance made it clear that from January the 1st, 2021 to December the 31st, 2030, for newly established companies in Horgos, from the list of companies to enjoy preferential corporate tax engaging in key industries, from the first taxation year after their first income from production and operation, they will be exempted from corporate tax for the first 5 years. And after these 5 years of exemption from corporate tax, they will be exempted from the part of corporate tax shared with localities from year 6 to 10. In 2021, Xinjiang government has positioned Horgos at the center of Xinjiang's plan of land ports, economic development zones, and ports economic belt. In terms of financial policy, China-Kazakhstan Horgos International Border Cooperation Center has developed into an institution that can now provide overseas banks, institutions, and individuals, as well as companies registered in the Chinese side of the cooperation center with offshore RMB services, as you can see in this video. Third, open platforms. Horgos has an international railway port opening all year long. Since 2022, there have been 23 new transit trains in the railway ports, totaling 59, reaching to Germany, Poland, Turkey, and Russia, and including 45 cities in 18 countries. The cargoes include auto parts, mechanical and electrical products. From January to May this year, the port have completed 2,696 express train services, up by 8.3% year on year. It has handled goods 15.83 million tons of cargo, up by 4.5%. Horgos has a land port with the best infrastructure and customs clearance conditions in Western China. And annually, it can clear 3 million tons of goods and inspect 5 million of persons. It is as quickly as air transport and as cheap as maritime transport. Fourth, business environment. Horgos is a pioneer in talent introduction, investment attraction, and parks building. custom clearance is 7-day 24 hours in the railway port, 7-day 12-hour in the road port, and 7-day 10-hour in the cooperation center. We are committed to streamlining procedures and reducing costs, as well as improving efficiency. Now, I sincerely invite you to come to Horgos for tourism and investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fan, for your introduction about the Horgos Economic Development Zone. And there are some other video clips in this display. The promising Horgos is really exciting. I would like to wish you take this opportunity to achieve more in this process of opening further to the West. Thank you so much. Bye. Now we'd like to put the link through to Mr. Liu Chung of Baktu Port of Tachang, Prefecture of Xinjiang. Hello, Director Liu. Hi. Hi, Hi, Mr. Liu. So I believe you are standing on the most northwest point of the country and link with us through the video. We are here in Beijing and giving out the information about Xinjiang foreign trade to friends home and abroad. Now, we'd like to invite you to give us some introduction about the advantages of Baktu Port and your present development situation. Okay. Here, the Baktu Port of Tachang of Xinjiang, located on the intersection of the Silk Road Economic Belt, the North Road, and the Central Route. And it is an important window for Xinjiang and China to communicate with the Kazakhstan and the rest of the Central Asia countries and even Europe. The Baktu port opened to the outside in 1992 and upgraded to a first-class national port in 1994 and opened to the third country in 1995. And as you know, that in December of 2020, the Tachang has already been approved by the State Council as a key development and opening up experiment zone. Due to the pandemic, the port closed temporarily in February 2020 and reopened in this November the same year and resumed its cargo clearance, but insisting on the close management and closed-loop cooperation through no-contact clearance, and the economic of the port has recovered soon, as if switched from a pause to operation and acceleration, and seizing tightly the opportunity of opening further, and especially this construction of the BRI. And the port has setting up and trade structure of buying from the world, the country, and selling to the whole world, and to change its economic development mode. And firstly, it is still investing more on the infrastructure and for the disinfection and optimizing of its goods transfer. And in January to June this year, the accumulated export and import goods reached 136,100 tons with a volume of $224 million, which is an increase of 50% and 21% than the same period in 2019. And secondly, to optimizing or improving our services for the export-import business in the land. And 24 hours pre-appointment clearance have been realized, and enterprises and companies could finish their customs clearance procedures through one sheet and one set of the materials. And with the preferential policies given by the national and the regional authorities, and some local policies or rules are also being granted to support and encourage the foreign trade companies to strengthen their business here. And the border trade markets between China and Kazakhstan have been resumed its cooperation, and especially for those large-scale agriculture products. Now the companies doing business in the port has increased from 7 to 139. Thirdly, that the Baku port are trying its best to improving its construction of opening up platforms in development outline for touch key development, and opening pilot zone has been worked out, and with focuses putting on the bounded warehouse and cross-border e-commerce zones, and to promote the export and import for commodities and processing of agriculture byproducts, Chinese medicine manufacturing, and international trade. We are now making use our advantages to making new contributions to the high-quality economic development of Xinjiang.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your introduction of the Baku port. And through the Baku port, we can see Xinjiang's vitality of opening up to the West, and we can feel the vitality. And now we are more confident in Xinjiang's outward-oriented economy. Thank you for your introduction. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Goodbye. Now we will have the Executive Deputy General Manager of Xinjiang Goldwind Science and Technology Company Limited via video link. Hello, Mr. Fang. We are now in Beijing holding the press conference on Xinjiang. Please introduce to our journalists on Xinjiang's foreign exchange and cooperation. We know that Goldwind is a very good company, a good example of companies in Xinjiang. And please introduce to us relevant situations. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Fang Zhong from Xinjiang Goldwind Science and Tech Company Limited. It gives me great pleasure to talk about our story. In 1998, we started at the foot of the Tian Shan Mountains. For the past 24 years, we have been specializing in energy development, energy devices, services, and use. And we are committed to becoming a trusted global partner in clean energy. And with the support from the public, we have achieved remarkable progress, and we have won China Green and Low Carbon Innovative Enterprise 2020, and the leading enterprise in contributing to carbon peak neutrality. On my right side is the latest model of our turbine, smart turbine. Now, across the world, our partners are from 6 continents and 32 countries. We have about 10,000 employees worldwide, including over 3,000 R&D and technical personnel. Looking back, we have committed to driving high quality and sustainable development of the company by scientific innovation. In recent years, we have established in Beijing, Jiangsu, Fujian, and Germany and Denmark. We have established there 8 R&D centers. We have also cooperated with renowned universities across the world and capitalized on global technological resources to build the key driving force for the development of advanced technology. Now we have applied for over 5.6 thousand global patents and participated in the formulation of 31 international standards. We believe wind power is a marathon. We have promoted the performance of our products through technological progress and integration, and we have provided stable, reliable, and efficient wind turbines for global partners. First, develop medium speed and direct drive permanent magnet for wind turbines. Second, promote industrial upgrading through digitization, build digitized holistic solutions for wind farms, and provide inland and offshore turbines with full life cycle solutions so as to increase the value of wind farms of our customers. Third, build zero carbon solutions for new power systems and improve the source, grid, storage, and load to create an innovative energy asset management model for our customers so as to lower energy consumption and fully contribute to carbon neutrality. We have committed to green development. Now our industry has expanded to the Internet of Energy and environment protection and water treatment. Now, our sewage treatment capacity has reached 4.23 million tons per day, serving over 10 million people. Since 2016, as a responsible corporate citizen, we have worked with upstream and downstream partners in the wind power supply chain to push for green transition of the industry. We are committed to providing blue sky and clear water for humanity and leaving more resources for future. Since our establishment, we have provided the world with over 86 gigawatts of wind power installed capacity. And every year, these capacity will provide over 172 billion kilowatt hour of green electricity per year, helping the world reducing 180 million tons of CO2. We are looking forward to more extensive and deeper cooperation with global partners to push for global energy transition and ensure the access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy for all. Thank you. That's all from my introduction. Thank you, Mr. Fang. Thank you for your introduction on the Goldwind Company and your open cooperation with companies around the world. We now understand that as an open company, you have fulfilled your social responsibilities. And after your introduction, I am much delighted. I wish Goldwind all the best in the context of Xinjiang's opening up to the West. And I wish you, Mr. Fang, all the best in your work and wish you good health. Thank you for your support. Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Now, I would like to pursue with Mr. Yu Chengzhong, Chairman of Uyghur Jingyi International Trade Company Limited. Hello, Mr. Yu. Hi. We are now in Beijing for a Xinjiang-related issue press conference and introducing to the friends from media and countries about the foreign exchanges and cooperation in Xinjiang. We've been heard that your company has made many achievements and with your own experience. So we would like to invite you to introduce to us the operation of your companies there. Hi, everyone. I'm the chairman of Uyghur International Trade Company. The opening up has brought great opportunity for me to start my business, and I do make achievements in this foreign cooperation. I'd like to share with you my story. It was in 1990s. I heard the news about the Hormuz ports opening to the third country. I thought, wow, it was having a try. So I came to the Hormuz ports to start my fruits and vegetables import and export trade. It was really difficult in the beginning because many of the fruits I transported from southern China with high costs and not easy to store. Because back to that time, there is no city in Hormuz, only a small port with very poor infrastructure, and there was high wastage for the export and import fruits and vegetables. But that time is really the golden time for foreign trade. I followed the trend and am making my first fortune. In 2020, I heard that the central authorities decided to set up a special economic development zone in Hormuz. I felt so excited about this news, and I'm feeling that I'm going to welcoming the most important time for my business. So I set up this Hormuz International Trade Company. In 2013, we established this fresh keeping storehouse with 20,000 square meters, with capacity of almost 5 tons of fruits and vegetables. And since 2014, the city was set up in the Hormuz, and it has stepped into a high-speed development phase with ever improved infrastructures. There are paved roads, hospitals, and schools, and all the other facilities have been put into use. With more and more businessmen and sound environment for the business as well. In 2018, the joint inspection, the sixth generation of the National Gate, was started its operation in Hormuz, and the West Europe to Western China high-speed paved ways was put into operation. With the upgrading of the infrastructures, and we benefit a lot, such as through the highways, the duration of the transportation between Hormuz to Almaty of Kazakhstan has reduced to 2 hours. And with express passages for clearance of byproducts of agriculture, the export time of fruits and vegetables being further reduced, and hence improved the international competitiveness of the company. And with the development of the port and the city, the company expanded as well. And now we have provided the opportunities or job opportunities for more than 2,000 households, and with more than 600 daily job posts provided to the nearby really cities and rural areas. Now, we have remained about 100 tons of export of fruits and exports. And last June, our new investment, this culture and tourism complex, was put into operation. It is a combination of the hotel, dining, cinemas, and sightseeing agriculture. And we also established a agriculture byproducts processing factories for juice and fruit cans, and further enhanced our consumption capability of local fruits and increased the added value of our products. The facts have proved that there are a lot of opportunities here in the port, and my decision was just right. And in 2020, we exported groceries and vegetable and fruits about 220,000 tons, with an exports trade volume about $2 billion US, and our partners are mainly 5 countries in the Central Asia and Russia. And from January to May this year, the export goods was 30,000 tons with a volume of $360 million US. Thinking back about the growth of the companies, and we are surely benefited a lot from the preferential policies given by the country and the regional authorities. I'm confident that with the acceleration of the construction of Silk Road economic belt, we will even embracing a brighter future with broader development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yu. Thank you very much for your introduction. From the situation you just talked about, we now understand that your company has been there since the early stages of the reform and opening up in China. And it's fair to say that you have grown stronger with the reform and opening up. And in particular, you have decided to start up your business in Horgos in northwestern China. It is extremely very difficult, and we are very happy for you. And I wish your company can hold the opportunity of China's opening up to the West and make good use of the policies. And I hope your company can make more achievements. And thank you for your support. Goodbye. So, friends from the media, distinguished guests, 8 representatives from the economic sector in Xinjiang have just talked about Xinjiang's foreign exchange and cooperation and their remarkable achievements. They also talked about their plans for the future. I believe that Xinjiang as the gateway of China's eastward opening up and the core region in the Silk Road economic belt. And I hope you now have better understanding in these concepts. Now, we would like to have some exchanges with friends from the media and see if you have any questions. So before this press conference, we have received questions provided by our relevant journalists. Now, I would like to exchange with you on these questions. First, journalist from MAS TV. Hello, please go ahead. Thank you for joining the press conference. I have 2 questions. And actually, during the press conference of the MFA, these questions have been asked. One is about the Helena Kennedy Center at Sheffield Hallam University has issued 4 reports on Xinjiang to propagate the lie of forced labor in Xinjiang, but it is later proved that it's organized disinformation with a hidden agenda. I would like to ask you for your comment. The second question, the executive director of the International Energy Agency said that China was home to 79% of the global manufacturing capacity for polysilicon. But 42% is located in Xinjiang, and the level of concentration represents a considerable vulnerability. And he said that governments should take necessary measures to diversify their supply chains. I would like to have your comments, and please brief us on Xinjiang's polysilicon and PV industry, and how is the situation after the sanctions by the US. These are indeed good questions. I would like to brief you on the relevant situations. First, on the Xinjiang-related reports issued by Sheffield Hallam University. The so-called academic institutions have issued such reports. Actually, I have read many of them. Frankly speaking, I feel it's a total waste of time. First, these reports are not based on facts. The authors of the reports have not come to Xinjiang. And on labor and employment in Xinjiang, they have no idea. These reports have quoted a lot of rumors, lies, and disinformation and misinformation. So it has no academic context and no scientific context. The second, they have ulterior motives. As you understand, the authors of the reports and the patron of the Helena Kennedy Center has many connections with terrorist forces. It's proved that they have now become the culprits of terrorist elements. So you can feel the credibility of such reports. It has no credibility to say. And third, it has no influence. The international community is now more literary about the reality of Xinjiang, including the rumors and lies spread by anti-China forces in the US and Western countries. Many people with vision have understood the ulterior motives of the lies and the rumors of the anti-China forces in the US and some Western countries. And very few people can be fooled by such reports. So I believe this shows that the international community are speaking up for the justice. And I also noticed recently, the CEO of Volkswagen, Mr. Herbert Diess, made it clear that in the Volkswagen factories in Xinjiang, there is no such thing as forced labor. And actually, there is no forced labor in any company in Xinjiang. So I hope the international community can see clearly of the so-called think tanks in Western countries and their so-called reports. And on your second question on polysilicon and PV capacity and the situation of relevant companies. First, we believe the concentration of PV capacity is the result of resource allocation, technological difference, and market drives. It is a normal phenomena in international PV industry, and it is the basic norm in many industries in the world. The current vulnerability in the global PV industrial and supply chains is not about the so-called concentration of capacity, but the so-called Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act and the US's malicious suppression on China's PV industry. This is seriously against the law of the market and WTO rules and detrimental to the international trade order and the stability of global PV industrial and supply chains. It has greatly impacted the normal supply and industrial chains. It will not only harm the global chains, but also the interests of American companies. We know that the production of polysilicon is not labor intensive, but it is technology and capital intensive. I have visited many companies, many polysilicon companies in Xinjiang, and I have understood some situation. At present, the polysilicon companies in Xinjiang have reached world-class level and achieved automation and digitization. 5G technology is widely applied to production, and most operations are completed by computer. I have visited a PV company in Shihezi. I have seen that in the central control room, the operation is mainly controlled by computers. There are very few operations that requires technicians as humans. The operators will use the keyboard of the computer to finish the operations. And I also noticed that in crushing and packaging, automation equipment has been introduced. The human labor required has dropped by 50% compared to 10 years ago. So this high level of digitization has greatly improved company management and efficiency. In the past few years, many journalists have visited for many times the polysilicon production bases and the relevant companies, and there are many news reports on this. I need to point out that polysilicon and PV companies in Xinjiang are registered and run in accordance with law, and they shoulder the social responsibilities and business ethics and codes. They also ensure that ethnic minority employees can enjoy equal employment and they are free from discrimination. Because there are very few workforce required, there are fewer ethnic minority employees in PV companies. I also understand that the income of polysilicon company employees are relatively higher than the average level. Companies also provide paid annual leave and family leave, and also many kinds of welfare treatment. Employees are very satisfied with their income and the welfare treatment. So there is no so-called forced labor in PV companies in Xinjiang. To promote renewable energy, including PV, and advanced energy revolution has become a consensus of the world. To further strengthen exchange and cooperation to achieve win-win cooperation is the historical trend. It cannot be held back by any kind of sanction. In 2021, PV-based new material in Xinjiang has reached 469.4 thousand tons, up by 30.9% year on year. So the sanctions on Xinjiang's PV industry or even so-called extinction. And I'm afraid the PV industries around the world, and especially American companies, I'm afraid they are probably against such moves. That's all from me. Next, Macau Monthly, please. Macau Monthly, please brief us on Xinjiang's foreign exchange and cooperation in higher education. How many international students have come to Xinjiang in recent years? Thank you for a question. Xinjiang's opening up and foreign exchange and cooperation is across the board. Since today's press conference mainly focuses on foreign trade and economics, but actually in culture, education, healthcare, and transport, Xinjiang has very broad exchanges cooperation. And if we have the opportunity, I can have a more detailed introduction to you. On education, there are some situations I would like to introduce to you. In recent years, we have promoted government-sponsored overseas studies. Since 2016, Xinjiang's education system have supported international students to study in over 20 countries, including the US, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, and Canada. And altogether, there are 3,038 international students have enjoyed the government-sponsored programs. Second, we have actively promoted the Study in Xinjiang program. We have organized the Chinese government scholarship, the autonomous region level scholarship to receive international students from neighboring countries, and the State Council Overseas Chinese Affairs Office scholarship. Since 2016, 7 universities in Xinjiang have altogether trained over 20,000 international students who have studied in Xinjiang. And actually, it is affected somehow by COVID-19. Third, we have continued to enrich China's cooperation with foreign countries in running programs. There are altogether 7 such programs in such areas as transport, construction and engineering, electrical automation, and so on. Since 2016, undergraduate and vocational majors have admitted 12,610 people, and 741 students are now studying. Fourth, we have made solid progress in international exchange and cooperation. We have formed the President's Alliance in China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Altai region, the New Siberia Xinjiang Russian Language Center, and China Central Asian President's Alliance, and Silk Road Eurasian University Alliances, and so on. We have established many platforms to carry out international cooperation. And through these platforms, we have launched many academic seminars in many aspects and across the board. And these are all from me. Are there any more questions? If there are no further questions, this will be the end of today's press conference. Thank you, journalists present at the venue. And also thank you to journalists attending the press conference via video link. Also, Chinese embassies in nearly 60 countries are broadcasting today's press conference, and thank you for your support. Thank you very much. See you next time.